Hey y'all, this is the introduction video for the series Life of a Volleyball Player in a 6-2 rotation. So the reason I'm doing an introduction is because I want to kind of cover a couple of terms that I'll be using throughout this series. Each video is going to focus specifically on a different type of player on the court and walk them through their rotations on the court, both in their rotation, their serve receive, and their serve. So kind of clearing up the difference between all of those. Couple of things we want to focus on. Number one is what a 6-2 actually is. Different than a 5-1, okay, which is another term that a lot of volleyball people throw around. A 6-2 talks about having 6 hitters and 2 setters. So typically what this means on the court is that rotation 1, 2, and 3 are the exact same as 4, 5, and 6. And the reason this is because our setter will end up playing all of back row. So we will have 3 hitters front row all the time. Once that setter hits the front row, she'll be subbed out with a right side, and then a new setter will come in and play back row. So you're going to always have a back row setter, and you'll always have 3 hitters front row. So this is the typical 6-2. A couple of other terms that I want to clear up. Rotation is where you are on the court, or where you have to be on the court at the start of the play. You can't move out of your rotation until the ball is put in play, and then you can move anywhere on the court, off the court, just not the other side of the net, obviously. Serve is where you are when you are serving. So when your side is serving, where are you on the court? Serve receive is when the other side is serving, and you have to set yourself up or shimmy yourself in a way that allows your setter to get to their base as quick as possible. All of the rotations pretty much revolve around the setter. That's the point of this, is that we want to get that setter to her base as soon as possible. Which actually brings me to another term, base. Okay, so over here, for example, we have a rotation. This is what it might look like, rotation 1. We'll have our setter in right back, we have our libero starting in middle back, our DS in left back, and then remember, you always have players opposite you that play the same position. So, right side and setter play the same position, DS and outside play the same position, middle and libero play the same position. So when they end up rotating, they will be subbing with someone who plays the same position as them. So we stay in rotation, and then once that ball is put in play, we can go to base. Now, when we go to base depends on whether you're in serve or serve receive, which I'll cover individually in each lesson, but the key about base is that is where you go on the court no matter what. So if you are completely lost and you have no idea what's happening, best thing to do is just go to base. Okay, so I'll just talk about bases really quickly. Base is wherever you are position wise. So let's say you are outside hitter and you're starting over here in right side. Okay? The logical thing to do is to go to base, which is all the way across the court. Okay? So this is going to be your base over here and outside. Now, we could do the same thing, and I'll just go ahead and lay out all the bases for all the positions. Our setter is a back row setter. So she is going to be at base right at that 10-foot line. Okay? Our right side is going to be the next position. Our right side hitter plays all the way over here. Okay, so her base is up at the net. Our middle hitter is also up at the net, and our outside hitter is up at the net. Okay, so we have our setter in right back, then we have our right side hitter obviously in right front, our left side hitter or outside hitter, so that's why we call her that. Then moving down, we have our Libero, who is going to be playing, and her base is right at the 10-foot line. And then we have our DS, who's going to be playing deep middle back. So her base is going to be right ahead of that end line. So these are key things to know. Every time the ball goes over the net, we should always be returning to base. That is the key to playing volleyball, okay? If you can't get your head around serve, receive, and serve, and rotation, and all these things, that's fine. Go to base. Key of volleyball, make sure that ball doesn't touch the ground, okay? In a 6-2, our setter is playing back row. We want to remember she should always be playing defense first, okay? So she should always be playing for this line or coming over here for this cross ball, playing defense first, then running up to set. Okay, so that's one of the things that's kind of different than a 5-1 when you're playing front row, is that you don't have to worry about that kind of thing. All you have to do is block, but now we actually have to play our defense in the back row. Okay, so these are just some basics of 6-2 volleyball. If there's something that I left out, please comment below, ask me any questions that you have. If there's something that you notice that or something you need a little bit help with, please reach out, okay? This is what I'm here for. And next up, I think, is going to be Libero, so tune in for that. See y'all.